This is my first trip to Brisbane, and I'm very happy to hear, and also I'm very happy to show my lecture performance today. I think the Radialx should create new type of ways to change the material that art uses. So I think that the mini FM is a kind of transition way, because in mini FM, of course, contents is important, but at the same time, the how to listen, how to transmit is also important. So I will show you next move. Mini FM started as a kind of community radio which had no restriction from the regulation. That is free radio. We expected the listener and the audience and tried to deliver to them our message. Mini FM had the message. Mini FM was message-oriented radio. So sometimes we were disappointed with less audience than we expected. The service area was so small, and sometimes depending on the area, we had very few audience. Also, there were technological problems to find appropriate transmitters. At the time, I did not start transmitter workshop yet. Instead of that, the participants of Mini FM enjoyed transmitting without the audience. It's just like transmission has nothing to do with receiving. Finally, I realized that it was partly therapeutic and partly artistic function. So while continuing community type Mini FM, I started to try intentionally to shrink the service area. I'm now using a term of Mini FM without hesitation, but at the time, at the first stage, we usually did not use this term because this term was given by the mass media. Mini FM was an abbreviation of miniature FM radio station. We respected the element of free radio rather than the miniature size. But I became interested in the latter. Also, the popularity of satellite communications and the beginning of the internet influenced me a lot. By using such technologies, it is quite easier to extend transmission area further and further. Even if Mini FM's service area is too small, such technologies could help extend the service area. So I thought that you don't have to insist to extend the service area by Mini FM. As soon as I remained in the miniature size of Mini FM, I found myself in collaboration with sound art, DJ, and performance art. Since the early 80s, I have been involved in performance art using electronics. At the time, Mini FM had less relationship with my performance activities, but finally, two areas joined together. In radio Finland, for instance, that my student started in 1983, we had two choices of transmission. One was called shy, and the other was called hot. In shy, we used a very, very low power transmission, while in hot, we used 1 watt transmitter. This means that the station covers 1 or sometimes 5 kilometer radius. In shy, on the contrary, you can cover only 50-meter radius, so most appropriate service area was in the studio or the station. Radio Homeland initiated a lot of interesting artistic and therapeutic attempts, but for me, even such miniaturized mini-FM was still radio with message-oriented radio station. So I myself started experimenting using a tiny transmitter to cover only 1 meter radius on the table. This attempt has been continuing even today, but this attempt was done along with my involvement in message-oriented radio, in which we had to organize transmitter workshop because it was still difficult to find proper transmitter for community-type mini-FM. There were transmitters, but most of them did not work well. So I organized the transmitter workshop in 1991. Interestingly enough, this transmitter workshop gradually became a kind of workshop of art. The transmitter became an artwork. For me, at the moment, transmission, handwork to build up the transmitter, and art inseparable. What I would like to emphasize is the another side of transmission. Usually, transmission has been considered as a kind of carrier to convey some information from one place to another. But I think that the function of airwaves and transmitter will have different way of doing. So to look for such different functions of airwaves will be something more creative side of radio art, I thought. So from now on,
I would like to some performance to shrink the size of transmission. This is only a very modest experiment, but to change the size of transmission, first I would like to make a simple transmitter and show how it works, and finally, using the transmitters, I'd like to show my own example of Radialx. Okay, I have a web page how to build a transmitter, and you could watch it and realize how easy to build transmitter. This is a copper plated plate, and there are a couple of components I need, and I just solder these components on this copper plated. So please wait for 10 minutes or so. And also, if you are interested in how I built, please come over here and look at it. It's a kind of a show.